Okay, welcome to Game 3 of the series. Off to a pretty interesting start for this tournament, I would say.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Pretty good start. Coffeehouse Depression has taken faction selection for Game 3, and he has chosen... They still are messing up the starting positions. I even told them in the Steam chat. Allies are position 1. Axis are position 2. Well, whatever. I mean, actually, the starting positions are correct this game, so I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out that, like, they messed it up in Game 2. Whatever, it's fine. So, I'm glad starting positions are right this game. Siddolio playing as Soviets in the south. Coffeehouse Depression had faction selection, chose Oberkommando West again in the north. He had to declare first since he's Axis. Siddolio decided to counterpick OKW with Soviets, so not really anything surprising there. Same matchup for Game 2. I wonder if Siddolio will change up his strategy. I mean, well, I don't wonder. I know he'll change up his strategy. He has not gone with penal battalions, going with Maxims. Or at least one Maxim so far. Tier 2 opening this time. And it looks like we're also going to see a bit of a change in Coffeehouse's strategy, splitting his forces between left and right here. At the beginning, maybe he's going to try and shut down combat engineer harassment and force a retreat. But since 2 squads were dedicated right, I think those Sternpiles will probably lose an engagement for the area. Especially since combat engineers... Well, I was about to say would have control over a building, but now they won't. Sternpiles successfully push him away. And he actually just captured these 2 sectors and is now going to move back to support his battle group, which he again builds crazy dangerous. So dangerous. If you were up against standard conscript spam, that would be so dangerous to attempt. But he's not. Maxim on the field suppresses the Sternpiles before they can round the corner. Looks like they'll get back up though. I'll be fine. And Siddolio is too late to stop this from constructing, but building it that early is going to make it a little difficult to defend, especially with a Maxim right here. Fortunately, there's a lot of green cover around it, so it'll maybe be okay. Here's a cut-off attempt by these combat engineers, and conscripts are just going to work the territory on the right rather than pushing aggressively towards the battle group right now.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Yes, it actually sends pizza to my house. I realized you probably typed that like a long time ago. I just like, sometimes I glance at chat and then I'll realize that somebody asked me a question like 100 years ago. Conscripts engaging folks. What was that death animation? Did you see that? He just like did a flip and landed on his head. Okay. Maxim moves up to engage Folks Grenadiers over here on the left. He can suppress maybe one or both of these squads. Should maybe be able to force some retreats. Our retreat point unlock is in progress. I feel like this crazy early battle group placement and retreat point unlocks leaves him just behind for all early engagements. The fact that Siddolio spreads out and takes territory with some of his army is the only reason I think he doesn't get just totally overwhelmed. That is a 4-minute retreat point unlock. That's just crazy. Couple squads reinforcing here by the base.
Awaiting command. Hold this ground for the people. HMG crew is ready. Engineers standing by. Need something built. Soldiers ready. We are the
One squad of conscripts right, trying to take control of these strategic points before moving to back half the strategic point and munitions, and it looks like Siddolio is going to make another pretty big push towards the battle group. Probably going to force a retreat from these Sturms before they can get in range on the Maxim right there. I don't know why he keeps setting it up and back down though. He's going to let that Maxim fall pretty low as a result of his decision to do that. Loses about half of its health before forcing that retreat. Kind of messed up a little bit. But he'll be alright. Maxim's moving to push the Oberkommando West all the way back towards the base. Conscripts moving to take control of everything there on the left. This green cover is the only thing preventing Coffeehouse Depression from just getting pinned on his battle group headquarters. Maxim's set up and start putting suppression fire on these Folks Grenadiers, which have left cover. If they're suppressed for this engagement, it could go very badly for them. 2 squads suppressed. That Maxim will be forced to retreat though by sustained fire from all squads, and it looks like he's generally pretty okay. Meanwhile, these 2 squads finish capturing everything on the left, and a triple cap is about to be going against Coffeehouse Depression. Siddolio has been forced to retreat both of his machine guns. No healing yet either. You're going to be bleeding a little bit of manpower, but he still has a huge advantage over his opponent for numbers. If he would just get a little bit of extra punch from Molotovs or flamethrowers or something to just really put pressure on his opponent, on his battle group, maybe with shock troops, something, there's a very good chance he could overwhelm this extremely small army. I think he's going to go tier 4 again, by the way. So he spends so much manpower on tech. I just can't believe he's surviving against what Siddolio has on the field. 3 conscripts and 3 maxims, and potentially a flamethrower against 3 Folks Grenadiers and Sturms and a retreat point. His weakest moment is going to be coming very soon while this tier 4 is in production. If he survives tier 4 production, he'll be in a pretty strong position again. So Siddolio should try to put pressure on him while this thing is building if he can. I'm not sure he's going to scout it in time though. He's got a Maxim over here, conscripts in this building, combat engineers moving on the flank. I don't know if he's going to spot this happening. If he doesn't make a coordinated push extremely soon, this window of opportunity he's giving his opponent to even build this is such a shame. He should be applying constant pressure if he can. Maxim pushes up a little to engage from the right side with conscripts. Those get forced away. This Maxim is capturing this sector. That tier 4 is going to finish. I think this Maxim's about to spot it. He's already pretty much done though. Siddolio is probably too late to stop that from building. Maxim is shooting at it. I don't know, it's going down kind of fast. If he would just move that one to maybe help, if he would shoot at it with some extra conscripts, just something. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Siddolio lets that tier 4 build with almost no protection again. Grenade forces this retreat. Coffeehouse Depression will have protection of the victory point over here. As long as that victory point doesn't get taken and a triple cap does not begin against him, he's going to try to execute the exact same strategy against Siddolio that he used in game 2. Clearly it's not working nearly as well in this game against this tier 2 strategy as it worked against the tier 1 strategy. Siddolio is putting much more pressure on his opponent this game than last game. The question is whether or not it'll be enough to get those victory points take down before he gets annihilated in his base, I guess. Conscripts forced away from the tier 4 structure over here. Obersoldaten in production. Siddolio should probably try and go with some form of indirect fire. If he could go double mortar and put pressure on the tier 4 or tier 2 that way. If he went field gun and tried to take shots at it from range, its current position would probably make it a lot easier to hit than the last one because of the elevation. Elevation will not really work in the Overcommando West's favor this game. AT gun could easily get a line on it from a very safe position. Mine goes down in this road. And there goes that Maxim. There's an LMG on that Obersoldaten squad. If that Maxim gets recovered or salvaged, that would definitely be bad. I don't know if Siddolio is going to be able to recrew that. Maxim's trying to put pressure on Folks Grenadiers from a distance. Suppresses those Obers as well. Getting too close to the tier 4 though. Stop doing that, Siddolio. Don't stand inside the green circle. Well, actually, don't stand slightly outside the green circle either. I wish the UI indicator would... I wish they would just fix that. Like, how hard is that? To just fix the stupid circle. A little bit of harassment right. Stern piles and Obersoldaten moving to harass right a little bit.
Now stand at 300 points.
Conscripts are gonna be forced to retreat. They are suppressed. Still no Molotov research from Siddolio either. Fuchs Grenadiers slowly vetting up. Obersoldaten slowly vetting up. And no indirect fire from Siddolio yet. I'm not sure what he's thinking. I guess tier 4. Okay, I'm gonna go straight for Katyusha. That makes sense. I could definitely see that. Try and punish his opponent for this behavior. I was expecting some form of tier 2 indirect fire, mortars, but tier 4 will get the job done just as well. He might also go SU-85. SU-85 will do pretty good work putting pressure on these trucks, and there's really not that much anti-tank on the field. He went with double LMG upgrades for his Obers, so there's only one Panzerschreck, no Raketenwerfer. So he'll really have no way to stop an SU-85 from destroying that tier 4. But Siddolio has chosen to go Katyusha instead, which is perfectly viable option as well. Squad's still at pretty much full health, but they're going to pull back to the battle group headquarters anyway. There's the Katyusha rolling onto the field now. Siddolio is going to need to get some pretty awesome barrages off of this thing to pull back even. He's not that far behind. He's more behind than he looks though, because these overs are very expensive compared to conscripts and maxims. Katyusha firing any second, I think. What is he waiting for? He's going to try and force a retreat first, I think. No, he's not. Here it comes. Firing a little bit into the retreat path. His opponent is not really retreating, though. He's just moving manually to dodge, and it looks like he's going to pretty much not take that much damage. Maxims have to pull back to safety away from those laser beams. And there's incendiary artillery from Siddolio as well, who has chosen shock rifle. Late dodge! Oh, that spread could be really bad. Okay, gets clear. No, none of the Ober models died. They're the really expensive ones, so it'll be pretty okay. That Katyusha barrage was disappointing, though. Only 5 kills. Didn't really do all that much. It was just slightly off target. Ever so slightly.
Check your grenades. Set your range.
Attention! Ready yourself for orders! Stand ready, Kameraden!
Grenadiers back to full strength. Under attack!
Back at full. Quarterback to full strength.
Maxim trying to maybe do some work on the right flank. Flamethrower squad should be able to get these two squads sectors recaptured. There's now Panzer II on the field. Panzer II probably a good reaction to the Katyusha. If that finds its way into Siddolio's base, it could easily kill that. No AT grenades from Siddolio. No anti-tank, in fact, of any kind. He doesn't have a field gun. That Panzer II could very well hunt and kill that Katyusha. It's probably going to. There aren't really any mines either. This blob is just trying to put as much pressure on Siddolio as possible right in front of his base. Maxim cleared. Conscripts almost wiped. He's trying to force the retreat before he fires the Katyusha. He really wants to actually hit them on the base, but he can't seem to force it, so he's just going to fire at them manually again. This time he centers it on the blob itself. Gets a couple kills, but nothing too devastating. No wipes. Again, pretty disappointing barrage. Only 4 kills, minimal bleed. And there's the Panzer II to counter. That Katyusha's so dead. That Katyusha is done. And it would seem that the tier 2 to tier 4 meta is still pretty okay against non-meta Soviets, which a Katyusha rush I would say is pretty non-meta. And a 2 Maxim opening, I don't know. Not that non-meta, he still chose shock rifle, I'm just saying. Non-guard motor T-3485's guard spam. Tier 2 to Tier 4 seems to be working just fine, even with some really risky decisions by him, by the way, that Siddolio did not punish at all. And I think he probably could have. In particular, I think he probably should have architect Molotovs earlier so that he could force his opponent from green cover and really get the maximum suppression going on the tier 2. But I don't know.
Work completed. Back up to full force.
The loss of his Katyusha is probably going to cost him the game. The next logical step is probably to go SU-85. He's building green cover in his own base. Or maybe SU-76, I guess. I don't know. He's already so behind. I don't know if he can possibly win. Unless his opponent does something just really dumb. Panzer II chases away a combat engineer squad over here. Things are pretty quiet.
Enemy is alerted to our presence. Prepare for
Good ones
counter-strike.
ready.
The weapon team is back to full strength.
Achtung!
Still pretty quiet. Panzer II over here on the right side taking control of the fuel point with minesweeper support. Other than that, Siddolio is just trying to defend his base, I guess. Once he loses full control of the right, there won't be a whole lot he can do. There's the SU-85. SU-85 to try to counter a Panzer II and maybe apply pressure to these trucks. If he had gone SU-85 first, by the way, he might not be in this situation. Because SU-85 would not have been vulnerable to the Panzer II, and it would have still been able to put pressure on these trucks, and it wouldn't have had much of a counter on the field. So something to consider. Maybe SU-85 first would have worked better than Katyusha first. Katyusha first with no anti-tank of any kind left him quite vulnerable. SU-85 is going to try and bait that Panzer II. There it is. Maybe if you could fire through the hedge, get some shots off. Unlikely to be able to chase and kill it though with an SU-85. Here comes a big flank. 2 squads of Obers right there. Chase away a conscript squad. That could be a game-changing demo charge, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. At least not right now. SU-85 fires through the hedge. Gets a nice shot off right there. No second shot. There's the Jagdpanzer on the field to maybe try and counter that SU-85.
Contact! Small arms fire!
Conscripts running out of green cover right there. SU-85. Pulling back a little bit. Jagdpanzer's going to move up to try and put pressure on, and here comes the cutoff attempt to just get full control of the map and shut down Siddolio's resource income entirely. Shock troops are not going to be able to take on an army of that size. Grenade over the wall. Maxim suppresses both overs. 4 of 5 squads suppressed. Here comes a mass retreat over this demo charge. This could be devastating. Oh no! Okay, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad. 1 squad wiped. 1 squad wiped, but that's a loss you can recover from. 2nd squad or 3rd squad of overs still done is now in production. I think that demo charge had a lot of potential, but I don't know. Wiping a squad of overs is certainly worth it. But he just needed so much more to be able to come back from this. He still doesn't have his cutoff. He's lost all victory point control, and he is now triple capped. The Jagdpanzer is doing pretty good damage to the SU-85.
Mission accomplished.
Infantry attacking in force! Task completed! Unit ready. Stand ready!
Siddolio base locked. Doesn't have really much of a counter to that Jagdpanzer other than hoping for good RNG. He does have AT grenades now. Panzer II is going to bleed him hard on this advance. He's just smashing his blob into his opponent's blob, and clearly his opponent's blob is too big. It is just too big. I don't know, he had to retreat 2 conscripts, but it looks like he got a little penetration. His opponent is pulling the Panzer II back for some repairs, and fresh Obersoldaten are on the field though, trying to push him back. Shock troops are pretty wounded, and he still doesn't have control of this cutoff. Obersoldaten could throw a Frangible, block those Maxims, but whatever.
Maschinengewehr incoming!
Flanking attack! Taking fire!
Stolen Maxim jumping into the building to put pressure on these shock troops. It's just stalling, just keeping this double cap going. Not a triple cap, but Siddolio clearly is making no progress in any way whatsoever. Flamethrower moves up to maybe try and push out that machine gun. Here come the Volksgrenadiers. Obersoldaten and Sturms will be back very soon. You're gonna lose that machine gun though. Maybe Siddolio can recover that, get back to his original 3 Maxims. Unlikely. But at least he's sort of won this engagement. Reinforcements on the way though. Still no Molotovs from Siddolio either. Having any form of area of effect damage against this would be useful. Grenade into the house from the Overs does a little damage to those shocks, but nothing too serious. Grenade on the Maxim brings it quite low. Panzer II moves up to assist in the engagement, firing on those shocks. Those Overs are still pretty healthy. Only 2 models lost. And they force another full retreat from Siddolio back into the base. Who has no income at all, can't get any further tier 4 units. He certainly isn't going to be able to get any call-ins this game.
Receiving effective fire!
Objective secured! High cover!
Stand low!
Might be a wipe. Not good. Looks like it's pretty much GG. Everything Siddolio has attempted has failed. This base lock is going to continue. I don't really think there's anything Siddolio can do here.
Grenadiers back to full
Second Jagdpanzer in production. Once that hits the field, Siddolio doesn't really have a counter to 2 Jagdpanzers. They'll easily overwhelm that Su-85 if they just charge it.
Under enemy fire!
HMT fire!
Infantry! Cut them down! Moved into flanking position! Battle damage estimates should disembark!
Well, that's good. Panzer II goes down to engine damage plus Su-85 fire. Got a little overly aggressive with that. I don't know if that really makes any meaningful difference. There is a dead Panzer II, I guess. Volksgrenadiers retreat from a little bit of over-aggression into these defensive machine guns. Obersoldaten setting up over here on the right side. Should be able to win against these shocks.
Battle promotion! Infantry attacking in force!
Lone squad harassment on the left side seems to be going okay. Conscripts need to not walk into vision range of the tier 4 though. Okay. And pinned in 1-2 shots. Shock troops losing against Obersoldaten on the right side. And Both the Ag Panzers are available over here for this engagement against the Su-85, which is, of course, the last bastion of Siddolio's defense against everything. They're not pushing aggressively, they're just trying to kill the Tier 2 structure, which they will probably be able to eventually. Backing off a little bit from the Su-85, which again, they really don't have to. They could just drive up and kill it, honestly. I don't understand what he's doing here. Disengaging away from everything. These light repairs on that now, since it didn't focus fire the Su-85 down. It's now Vet 2. Victory points have now pulled even. Grenade on those conscripts. Both squads have to retreat. Shock troops prompt to retreat from those Volks Grenadiers. Flamethrower prompts that retreat. Siddolio has a brief moment where he's going to stop the triple cap. And a few squads are reinforcing over here on the battle group. Plus, I think he wants to get a little bit more territory recaptured, I guess.
Orders complete.
Squads reinforcing and healing here in the base. Shock troops moving to try and stop the clock here on the north victory point, while they have a tiny little window of opportunity. Ag Panzers are both about to be fully repaired, and it looks like Coffee House is going to go and get control of the left side. Strategic points.
Light tank ready to deploy.
New Panzer II on the field to counter the shocks, I guess. The Ag Panzers moving up from the left flank to maybe destroy the Tier 2 structure. Siddolio actually has gotten the fuel together for a new Katyusha though, so he might make one of those. I'm pretty sure it gets one-shotted by the Yag though, so he's gonna have to basically keep it in the very bottom corner of his base for the rest of the game. Siddolio is sitting AFK in front of a Panzer II here on the right side while he micros the engagement against those Yags. Shock troops are probably gonna get wiped. Su-85 actually is moving up to try and counter, but there's the wipe. Meanwhile, over here, the Yag Panzers have destroyed the Tier 2 and are about to destroy the Tier 4. Siddolio is too late to queue up a Tier 4 unit, and it looks like it's going to be GG as soon as those Yags blow up Siddolio's base, uncountered by anything other than an Su-85, which is way overextending itself and is not available to prevent this from happening. There is a field gun. Ag Panzer's trying to destroy base defense over here. Oh, that demo charge though. Oh my god. Oh, his Panzer II hit a mine and he will path around the demo charge. Nah, it did nothing. Demo charges with so much potential this game, but they just didn't quite connect. And finally, it looks like that is GG for real. Siddolio knows you cannot win this and will surrender, so GG. Coffee House Depression, whatever that means, has won and is then the first Star-Crossed King of Star-Crossed Kings Volume 2.